been called the best kept secret in California, and that's something that needs to change. There is no greater reward, and I think most who work in the field would agree, than when you see a client walk in the door. You can tell by their physical presentation that they do not feel very good about themselves. And to see that cognitive transformation from when they go to someone who is lacking in self-esteem, lacking in self-confidence, to someone who's holding their head high, addressing you first thing in the morning, that is a beautiful thing to see. This is the same person who is now pulling in younger members and newer clients. When they first came in, they wouldn't utter a word to anyone.
When I took my first steps into OCG, I was immediately taken back by the amiable staff and residents, and I knew this is where I would have to be if I was struggling with my own life. I sat down with 4 OCG graduates to listen to their experiences while in treatment.
But do you guys all remember that initial walk down the air ramp? Yeah. I don't think I've ever experienced anything more frightening in my entire life. And you walk through the back door, I guess it's technically the back door, and past the kitchen, and that screen is so dark and it looks like a dungeon, and then you sit on that hard wooden chair and you're sitting there going, I have no idea what I'm getting myself into, and I don't think I've ever been so afraid in my entire life.
Just looking down the hallway.
Looking down the hall, and there are all these people scurrying around that they already have their rhythm and they know what they're doing, and you're being thrown into this alter universe.
I saw people my age, at the age of what, 17, in suits. I think that scared me.
I know you're going, okay.
Like, who are these dudes? Well, they work here.
No. And then slowly you become part of it and you figure out how it works, and a new person comes in having that same experience.
Yeah, I remember sitting on the PC. I remember sitting on the PC. I was more reacting to just, there's always someone new, like, or who had just gotten there like in the last week and a half. And it was just always, I don't know, it kind of always bring me back when that person came in, like, going through something right now, something pretty intense. And then what's it called? Oh, the interview.
Yeah, oh.
The interview was like, just absolutely brutal.
Did you cry?
Oh, you're kidding?
Like
they don't let you out of there until you cry. It's like, you're not ready yet.
That's the way it used to be.
Or you throw a chair. Or, that was the kind of rumor that you have to throw a chair before you can come. But if you just cry like an absolute baby and scream.
Like, alright, fine, we'll help you.
I remember I walked down and like, they're like, you must be really hungry. Like, yeah, and they're like, yeah, let me make you a sandwich. And like, hey, and then, yeah, you know, it was really weird. And people were crying, it freaked me out, you know, like you'd be walking down the hall and there'd be somebody crying, and then somebody would come talk to them about their crying.
It was very loving.
Yeah, it was kind of odd.
More than any place in the world
ever, yeah.
I've ever seen. It's very like, very loving. I don't know how else.
I look back at who I was 9.5 years ago and can only recognize physical features, really. I feel like a completely different human being. Orville talks a lot when we get ready to leave treatment. He would always use the analogy that we slither into our common ground and we walk out.
You don't know how much you've learned until you actually take it out and you're living on your own and you're growing up finally.
What was most helpful to me was just learning to let somebody love me, or like let them tell me I was a good person, you know what I mean? Or I didn't really like believe them. You know, it took me a long time. Like, everybody's saying trust, you know what I mean? Like my big brother in the program, whatever, just like every day was, you know, make me feel really good, or, oh yeah, I love you, man, you're my friend. And like, I never had somebody a peer like treat me like that. You know, I was always trying to be somebody else's friend. Nobody was ever trying to be my friend. It was just really uncomfortable at first, but just like that level of somebody like consistently showing you love, like regardless of your mistakes and the way you look and how you dress and what you do, you know, that to me is like what really helped me get through the program and really changed my perspective on reality, is that you can make friends with people.
Reminds me of like high school. You think about high school and all the groups that everybody's all separated, but while you were here, everybody learns to actually come together. And who cares what kind of group you hung out with before, gangs or just you know, whatever. It just didn't matter anymore.
That's a big one. Yeah, that's a big one.
It didn't matter race, color, or any type of, you know, music you like. Everybody intermixed everything. Everybody was able to get along.
Even just things like morning meeting, when everyone comes together and
right.
Make fools of yourselves.
And make fools of ourselves. And I don't know if everybody felt like this, but I really felt like I was part of something, just one piece in the puzzle, and we really completed each other, and was part of something that was important. And
it's like a sense of pride or something. You know, like when we go on like family or you know, family outings, like as this huge group of like 40 people walking
all
onto the
these
roller.
bands driving down
Yeah,
the
it's like,
road.
you know, like there's just a sense of kind of like power, or not power, but just, you know, like specialness. Right? You know?
Yeah.
Every person that I talked to while at the facility was more than eager to share their stories in time for Our Common Ground. One graduate who couldn't come to an interview sent a letter and pictures instead.
Our Common Ground has been the greatest experience of my life. The program is the reason I have a life to live. Nearly a decade has passed, and in that time I have used every skill or tool given to me in treatment to maintain the cornerstone of my being, my recovery. Every year is sweeter than the last, highlighted with countless opportunities, adventures, and feelings of success and freedom. Every day I enjoy a wonderful marriage, a thriving family business, a loyal canine companion, a close relationship with my family, and an active, healthy lifestyle. Today my life is rich beyond my wildest dreams, and in every challenge I find a silver-lined lesson. I am forever humbled and eternally grateful to this program and every person involved. To the Daytop staff, and especially to my peer, thank you. With much love and respect, Nicole.
As the leader of OCG, Our Common Ground, I have two primary roles. The first is to ensure that we remain steadfast and in our commitment to our core values. Those values are that we want to provide a effective, individualized treatment in a safe environment. We want to make sure that we maintain a positive and supportive work environment for employees. And we want to make sure that we do whatever we can to have a positive impact on society. Secondly, I must ensure that OCG becomes and remains a fiscally sound organization that is capable of effectively and efficiently responding to changes either in funding or in programmatic requirements. We need to access private financial support for our treatment services. Although socially and financially expedient, funding substance abuse is not politically sexy. And it's our belief that if we do not fund it now and take care of these kids in need now, that we will end up dealing with them when they become adults.
It's like when you're a kid, you go to Disneyland and you're like, man, this is amazing. How do they do all this, you know? And nowadays, it's just everything is so explained and instant, and there's no, like I said, there's very little magic in the world. And I think it's important to kind of savor and, like, you know, protect what magic is left. And I really think that if a place can take somebody who is completely helpless, completely angry, unwilling to change, just trying to kill themselves through substance abuse or whatever, and within like a few months change that person's life forever in a positive way, that's magic, man. And like, I think that's important.
Sadness is to